Sherry Sherburne, Senior Editor with TheyThink.com, and I'm here today with Doris Brown, Vice President of Marketing for Pantone. Good morning. It's always great to see you.
Always great to see you. Absolutely.
And I'd like to just talk briefly about the Go system. You actually announced it last week, and its debut is here. We've got some of the piece parts with us. Maybe you could just give us a brief overview of it.
Sure. A few years back, Pantone was really looking at the products that we manufacture and looking at the changes that happened in the industry, and we saw a significant change in a lot of the constituencies that work with our products. And to be specific, if you look at the traditional printer, if you look at the equipment that they're using today versus the equipment they used some 45 years ago when the initial Pantone matching system was derived, is totally different. The workflow is even different. You and I have talked about how when I graduated from college, I used to do 30 by 40 film, hang it on a camera back, then tray process it, and then burn it on with carbon arc plate burners. I mean, significant changes have happened in the industry. So we at Pantone saw that, recognized that, and we started to go into a process of new product development. We did some major investment, strategic internal investment, even in the equipment we bought. We bought a brand new press, our manufacturing capabilities in Carlsbad, New Jersey. We have a press that can run 36 colors in one pass.
36 colors?
36 colors in one pass.
Oh my gosh.
And we worked with a company called KBA to develop that product for us and that press for us, and we've been running with it for approximately a year and a half now, and we've been very happy with it. And with all of the added features that that piece of equipment gave to us, we were able to bring some new technology to our traditional Pantone fan guide. So that was the first constituency that really changed. The second one was design, the creative community. You know, 4 years ago, if you'd asked a traditional creative, what do they use as tools? They probably would have said maybe 1 or 2 software programs. I mean, it has changed a lot from the X-Acto knives in those days. But for the most part, they were using 1 program or 2 program. Well, today, if you ask a creative what they're using, they're telling you they're using InDesign, Photoshop, they're using Quark, they're using Corel, they're using Flash, Dreamweaver, they're using XMPie. The significant changes in the tools that they're using. But the one thing that hasn't changed is the need for them to be able to replicate colors consistently in all those programs. So we knew that we started to build different types of relationships under our licensing relationships with a lot of those manufacturers. So that was another point to kind of make us realize it was time. And then, of course, the last thing is the customer, the people who pay for our bills. I mean, really, these are the brand companies, Coca-Cola, the top Fortune 100 companies. When you look at the way that they run campaigns today, they don't just want one campaign to be produced in print. They're also looking for that campaign to be replicated in web, in video, in flash, and in many, many different executions, maybe even variable print. Okay, so clearly those companies, they consider one of the more important components is color in that branding. So here's 3 major people. You have the printers, you have the designers, and then you have the customers saying, we need something different, or times may be changing. So we at Pantone went back and we really got a group of our core science technologists together to really look at the issue of, if we had to do it all over again, what would the Pantone formula system look like? And we said, you know what, there's nothing wrong with the current Pantone matching system, but there is a need for another system, and that's where the Go system comes from. And what the Go system is a collection of 2,058 colors in a chromatic arrangement. There is a math and science to the color layout. If you were to open up one of the current Pantone formula guides, what you'd notice is there's something called a center line configuration, where it gets whiter to the top of the page and then darker to the bottom of the page. Well, in this, the way that we laid down the colors is we laid them down in a manner that all the yellows are in one section, all the purples, all the violets, all the greens, all the blues, all the blacks. So it really is so much easier to be able to navigate the system. The second most important thing is that the current Pantone matching system uses 14 base colors to derive the 1,114 colors it has. Well, in the new system here, this only uses 10 base colors. And when we went out and found those 10 base colors, we worked with all the major ink licensees in the world and the pigment manufacturers to really validate these inks.
That's what these are?
That's what these are. So if you think, well, you know, to take a step back, if you didn't know what the Pantone matching system was, is we take these 10 base colors, and by mixing them with different parts, we're able to achieve all these 2,050. It's a very simple, but very, very important technology. So when we checked for these 10 colors with these pigment manufacturers, we asked them for a few things. Are they readily available around the world? because Pantone is a global
Yes.
standard. So it was
Yes.
important that if a printer is in India or elsewhere and looking to produce these colors, they need to be able to have access to these 10 base colors. So we validated not only the availability of these products, but also the longevity of the products.
Okay.
Because we want them to be around for a while. The
Another
other thing,
45 years maybe.
at least that. That's going to be as long as the existing Pantone
Right.
formula guide will still be in use. The other thing was we wanted to make sure in talking to the printers and the designers and the customers, we heard that a lot more people are moving towards coating and aqueous coatings, either UV or aqueous coatings. So we wanted to make sure that these 10 base colors and the colors that were derived from it were all compatible with the typical UV and aqueous coatings that are out there, and they are. So that's a wonderful advancement that's really going to help the printers out. The other thing that's really a benefit for the printers is the current Pantone matching system. When we used to lay down these colors, that press that I was talking to you about,
right.
our older presses were able to lay down the same amount of colors, but what happened is every single one of the colors might have a different ink film thickness
okay.
to achieve the color richness. And over
Yeah.
the years, we have noticed that those ink film thicknesses have varied significantly.
Okay.
This product is produced where every single one of the colors are the same exact ink film thickness, and that is the secret behind it being able to be cross-referenced to so many different types of technologies, such as web and also variable print.
Well, this is very exciting, and I'm sure that people are going to be anxious to get their hands on one of these kits. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you.